generation out there who need to hear the good news of Jesus. They are lost to the world at the moment and the enemy's territory, and whatever we need to do, we have to go out there and reach them however we can. And it's been an amazing time. God has kind of blessed this ministry. We have been on such a journey, and we would just love to share a little bit about Oriel, where we've been, and then put a little challenge at the end.
Hey, there we go. So, let's say most of you guys know who we are anyway. Has anybody never met us before? Oh, quite a few. So basically, we run Oriel Ministries, and we're based over in Launceston, or Lanston actually, I'll say. And our vision is we are just passionate of reaching young people with the gospel, sharing Jesus with them. They are, I think as Brian prayed this morning, it's just like we sit here and we look out in the world, and there is so many broken people out there, and our heart as a charity is to reach every young person, to tell them about the amazing hope of who Jesus is. And we also, it's about working together and partnering with local churches, youth organisations and schools, sharing the gospel, giving opportunities to explore the Christian faith, and also helping young people to grow in their faith through discipleship. And we do that through creative ways. So I'm trying to remember, I think I came here and shared with you a couple of years ago, and I think it was just myself that came. But then I think we did actually come here pre-COVID, and actually we came and did some music with you. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure whether you remember that. But basically our projects are what we've done. We started, as Nicky said, in 2009, which is quite a long time ago. And we set up a band that went into school, working with young people throughout the whole week, and then we finished with a concert where we would share the gospel as well. And over that time, over the years, we saw nearly 250,000 young people in Devon and Cornwall, and it was amazing. We also ran something called the Innocence Girls Conference that ran at St Melian International Golf Resort, which was an amazing girls' conference for teenage and tween, sort of age from 9 to 16-year-olds, of just inviting young girls to come in, discover their identity, but also know their identity of who they are in Jesus, because he is our hope. We also have a fantastic venue over in Launceston. It's called The Loft. And we run some really great events out of there as well, which we have many young people each week coming through. And again, everything that we do, even though we do it in a creative and exciting way, the reason why we do it is to share the gospel. That's what the young people need to hear. And we do that every time. Every time a young person comes into our building, there is always a time for about 10 minutes where the gospel is presented. And that will be also partnered on through testimonies of how God has impacted our life.
So what's been amazing this year is I feel like God's been shaping us a lot. We've done a lot of work where we went out and reached lots and thousands of young people. Then we kind of homed in a little bit over the COVID period of time, where we kind of had our own clubs running out of the venue. But this year, I believe God's wanting us to get back out there, because there is such a need for the young people today to hear that good news of Jesus. There is such a battle that they face, which I want to kind of address a little bit later on. So God's kind of put us in this way of a new beginning, a new season, where we have started new projects. We've got existing projects, but we've also got some new projects that are going to go out there. We want to work with churches like yourself so that we can reach those young people and see them grow in their faith. And the projects we've got are quite a few. Our first one is Ground Zero. Ground Zero is basically going out there into the streets, into the schools, into the communities, and that's through our projects like Sound of Hope, our schools projects, and also the Pulse Budge, which is really exciting. It's getting out where the children are at, going into their areas where they're at. So that's their local communities, that's their schools, homes, and sharing the message of Jesus. And one of the new exciting projects that I'm just about to launch, hopefully in September, is called Sound of Hope. Sound of Hope is about taking music back into schools Actually, one of the things with schools today is they kind of cut out the arts and they cut out music because they have to focus on the phonics, the English and the maths. And it's really sad because when you hear youngsters singing, it's one of the things that really gets to your heart. But actually, music is an amazing way to take a message. And we want to take a message of Jesus, the message of hope to these young people. And we're going to be sharing that message with them in the schools. They're going to be singing these songs about Jesus, but then they're going to take them home. So they're going to be singing them in their homes as well. And then we're going to do concerts and bring them in. So the parents and the community are going to come in and hear these youngsters singing. But they're going to be singing about Jesus. They're going to be singing about hope. So that message is going to be going out into the communities in an amazing way. And it's going to be a fantastic way to reach those parents, and not only the kids, but the parents as well.
So one of the exciting things that just after COVID, we built a converted double-decker bus into the Pulse bus. Has anybody heard of the Pulse bus before? There's a few hands going up. So one of the things that we'd always done is, because we've been working in the schools and we're going into different communities, it's like, it's not just about one hit, one visit going in and then bye-bye. What we want to do is help build those relationships with local churches, with the schools, to actually follow those young people on. But as you know, we live in a rural county, whether we're in Devon or Cornwall, it's very rural. And so not always can everyone travel to something that you're putting on. So our heart is like, how can we go and reach the young people where they're at? And so we had this bus that was donated to us by Plymouth City Bus. Just to say now, for a laugh, it was a wreck. I didn't realise how bad it was. I thought it was an amazing gift at the time, but actually just not long after we built it, the engine blew up, which was not ideal. But the bus now is completed, it's finished. It was built by a company in Kent who built the Google bus as well. And the bus now, we have seen over 18,000 young people since it's been built in 2021. It is, I was sort of tempted to bring it over here and show you on a Sunday, but it's just finding somewhere to park it. Because I will say that most of the time, if we go and share at a church, the best thing to do is to get on the bus. Because I can share about it and show you pictures of it, but actually when you get on it, you go, oh, I get it now. This bus can pull up within 4 minutes. The bus is set up. So you can pull up, for example, we've just been at Jacobstow School over near Bude, and we've pulled up there. We went in originally and did some assemblies and workshops with the Sound of Hope. And then off the back of that, we've done 6 weeks in their playground every Wednesday, where the bus pulls up and works from 3:30 till 5 with the young people. And again, at 4:30, free drinks are handed out. If it's in the winter, by the way, it's hot chocolate. If it's in the summer, it's nice cold icy drinks. And again, the gospel is shared, testimonies are shared, and these young people leave going like with a smile on their face, and they know a little bit more about who Jesus is, and particularly what he's done in my life, or whoever is sharing at the time. But the bus is fantastic because we can just go to multiple places. I would love one day to bring the bus to Tavistock. I would love to bring it here. There's probably areas here. It can either pull up in a rural area, like in a little village, just got to be careful with the trees, or you can pull up in a community, which is sort of those communities that are, you know, sort of a little bit more in need, where those young kids are sort of kicking around. So it's taking the church really out to the community. And again, as Nicky said, it's about building the partnership with the local church. We're not an organisation based in Launceston that are just doing our thing. We are all one. We're part of the church together. And so our heart at Oriel is to be working together, all of us, and actually doing what we're all called to do, the Great Commission of going out and sharing the gospel.
So one of our projects that we kind of launched last year was something called Base Camp. And you kind of might be getting the theme that we're talking about a mountain here with all the projects where they go up on stages. But basically, Base Camp is going out and inviting children to our venue, and we put on amazing themed events, and then we share the gospel. And we've seen hundreds of kids come to these events, and it's been amazing just to see the impact that they come and see this venue. We've dressed it all up, so at Easter we had lots of Easter bunnies, and then we had a big cross in the middle of the stage. And it's just amazing just to see the kids coming in, all excited, all hyped up. But then we share with them about the stuff that they're dealing with, but that actually there's a saviour that can help them through that. So base camp is our first step, just reaching those kids, inviting them into a place which is an amazing place for them. It's safe, it's got the message of Jesus everywhere, and it's just fantastic to see the response over the time. We've also realised that we've got quite a lot of children that, actually sometimes churches aren't able to look after the youth. And they're not able to disciple them in the way that they need to. And so we've realised actually what would be amazing is to be able to hold events where you can bring these youngsters in to help them be discipled. So this is called Summit Youth Event, and we're really excited to be launching our first one on the 13th of July. And this is open across Cornwall, Plymouth, Devon. We want to see as many youngsters coming along. We are going to have people coming in and sharing. It's going to be like, I would say like a youth church, but we're going to do it with style. We've got like donuts and we've got milkshakes and we've got all kinds of crazy things that we're going to be doing. But the main point is that we want to take those kids on that journey, in their faith journey, and then what we want them to do is go back out into their communities and then feed back into their communities about what they're learning. So setting up Christian unions in schools and colleges and making a massive impact from what they're learning at these events.
Amazing. Nick, I was just wondering, can you just shoot back to the picture that's got the three-phase journey on? Sorry, I'm throwing Nicky.
No, you're throwing me off.
I'm throwing Nicky on it there. It was just again trying to explain to you is that the whole thing that we have done stuff in Launceston over the few years, which has been really, really good. But this here is what we really believe is the next phase. And as you can see underneath here is the church. So when we've talked about these projects, what's really key is that we're actually wanting to help equip the church. And so with the ground zero, like we said, with the schools work, that's the initial one. And then we actually then put these events on where, for example, Abbey Chapel could bring young people that you might know to these great events and then back into the church again and then feeding into the Summit Youth Gathering. And so what we really believe is that young people, we need to take them on a journey. And that's what I think. So whether you meet them, if you meet them out in the street and they've never heard of Jesus, there's going to be a journey that we're going to take them on as a church to that point where they then grow and actually then can tell their friends about Jesus as well. So again, Nicky's just, she said briefly earlier on, thank you so much. I know that just after Christmas we went through a bit of a hardship with the charity. It was a bit scary actually when it came financially because we didn't know quite whether we were going to be able to carry on. But just to encourage you, God just provided in such an amazing way. And thank you to you all here because you played a big part of that as well, and your generosity was overwhelmingly just welcomed from us. And so we are grateful. The things that we're always finding is hard is needing more volunteers. But as we work more with the local church in different areas, hopefully the volunteers will come from each church that help us do what we're doing. And please continue to pray for us. I'm sure you do pray for us anyway, but it's just praying particularly just for us as we're doing the mission, because we are reaching quite a lot of young people, and we really need just like the Lord's help and guidance, courage and boldness as well. It's a big thing, and even practical help as well with certain things. We don't want to get to the point where it's just Nicky and I trying to do everything, because that will burn us out. So it's like if you have any voluntary time and you want to get involved and actually just bless the young people that we're working with, that would be amazing as well. So at the back as well, we have our stand where you can take any information that you need to take or sign up, or you can actually sign up on our website as well for if you want like more regular updates. But we are we're really grateful, and again, thank you so much for just supporting us and also inviting us here today as well. So that's great. Right, I'm going to move to 21. And so it says here, Moses writes about his bring Christ up from the dead. But what does it say? The word